Hello and welcome to Pro Warding Techniques with your host, Zakam.
Thank you, myself. Now, with a new preseason patch, everyone is getting free wards, and their supports can only put down 4 wards at a time.
So there's no excuse for you to not ward.
And, to help you with this newfangled concept, I've listened to the help of me, MLG Pro Warder. First off, the basics. Ward placement, early game. It differs to what role you're playing, so let's start with the bot lane. There are some key areas that you want to ward, mainly in brushes. When you're versing a champion that can catch people on brushes, such as Blitzcrank or Thresh, or even Annie, it's a good idea to get vision of these wards so that you can avoid them when they do try and hide in them. If not, at 3 to 4 minutes, the jungler should have finished its jungle, so it's a good time to ward. Either here, if your ADC might get caught or is at low health, or here if you're fine for leaving the lane for just a little bit. Now, when you're pushing from blue side, a really great place to ward is in the tri-bush here, as it spots the response to the tower being pushed. Even Freak approves of this ward.
We see Zach again. By the way, I love that that ward is there. That's a really good job by I forget if it was the support of the jungler or the mid, but whoever warded that is really good at the game. Wow, we see Diane. Dude, that ward is so good, dude. My team.
Now, when you're pushing from purple side, this tri-bush and this lane bush both will tell you what is coming to get you, which gives you plenty of time to escape. Now, when you're getting pushed from blue side, you don't really have to worry about warding river. Just make sure that you have the vision in the brush, in case more enemy champions try to sneak up from there. If you're versing a jungler that can tower dive, it's also a good idea to ward the tri-bush as well. Same goes for purple side, except this tri-bush instead of the other one. Now for mid AP early game. Getting 2 wards is good, but you can survive on 1. Placing them in brushes can be good, but if you're pushing up hard, then you can still get caught out when the jungler comes to gank. There are 2 places to ward that will give you more time to get out if gank comes. Now where to put them comes down to your smarts and communication. If you think the jungler is going to gank straight after blue, put the ward on the side of which the blue is at. If you think they are going to do red after blue, ward accordingly. If you think they're going to try and counter jungle, ward the appropriate places so that you and the jungler can see where they're going to invade. Maybe a few free kill will come with it. Now for top early game. Top is pretty much exactly like bottom lane, mainly because it's a mirror lane, so just follow what I've said for bot lane, except upside down. Now for junglers. Jungling is not my strongest role, but I'm better than some junglers due to the fact that I can get vision on the enemy jungle, so I can see what buffs are up for the taking and stealing, and where the jungler is going. A few good places to put wards are here, to see the red buff, and here if you need to get out quickly. For blue buff, you place them here because they are jungle entrances which people will go through. Mirror these placements for the opposite jungle, of course. Now, for mid to late game when people are pushing and roaming, if you're pushing a bot from blue side, ward a blue buff and tri-bush for gank coverage. If you're pushing up mid, ward this bush here and here if you can't get a ward further in, again for gank coverage. If you're pushing up top, ward tri-bush and this bush, or here depending on if you don't know where the enemy is coming from. Same applies for the opposite pushing lanes. If you are getting pushed, warding your own jungle at key intersections is key to responding to pushes. Sweeping and warding dragon pre-level 13 is a good way to set up catches or to secure the dragon for yourself. And for post-level 13, sweeping dragon and baron is a good idea. When taking dragon or baron, getting vision of enemy routes to there is really good because you can either run or hide to set up an ambush. Now, if you're about to have a team fight or one breaks out, ward all the nearby brushes. You can't find an enemy that you can't see or target. As you can see here, Free gets owned because of it.
Man, I could not find Zach to ult him. I didn't even take damage if there is. I could not find Zach. He like literally just kept jumping in and out of fog. Oh my gosh. I guess he was literally bouncing in and out of fog, but...
Now, I use SmartCast ward placement so that I don't have to click in the middle of battle to put down a much needed ward. But that's just personal preference. Now, for some advanced pro warding techniques. First off, warding over walls. Now this may seem simple, as it is, but it can be a bit fiddly due to LoL's pathing. Now, make sure that you are right up against the wall when you want to ward over it, otherwise your champion will want to path around the wall to put down the ward, which is really silly. The reason why this happens is because if you aim outside your range circle, League of Legends has to calculate the most efficient way of getting to that place that you want to ward. Meaning it's like you click to move to that ward location, and since you can't move through wards normally, it passes you that way. Now, if you put down a ward within your aiming circle, the game will put it down wherever you aim it, no matter what. Now we can use this to our advantage, but first, some places where this is useful is over base walls, over dragon and baron walls, or if you're getting chased and you don't know which route is safe to go through. Now, the game will try and put wards wherever you aim it, which includes inside walls. Now, the way the game deals with this is that it will push the ward out of the wall to the nearest free space that it can go. So if you aim the ward past the halfway of larger walls, it will push over the wall to the nearest free space, which is incredibly useful. Some good places where you can use this is here, here, and here. Another way this is good is that you no longer have to be right up against a wall to ward it. If you do it correctly, you can be slightly further away and aim just past the middle of the wall and it'll still get it over. This is a little quicker if you're running through the enemy jungle or something and you want to get out quickly. Now in Season 3, this brush used to be a bit larger so that you could ward over this wall and still make it into brush. But come Season 4, that's no longer the case because it's too small. Now, for some of the expert level warding techniques. First off, the early deep ward. This is only effective if you're on a 5-man team all communicating together and can swap lanes at a whim. This was predominantly used by the top Asian teams, so if you watch Worlds, you know what this is. What this is where you send a group of people toward either here, here, or here to get early information on which lanes the enemy champions are going to go. So you can send counters to that lane, or get some of your lanes out of a bad matchup. I don't recommend doing this in solo queue or duo queue, as it means that people might have to switch lanes which they've already picked, which might cause problems. But aside that, it can win you early to mid-game matching good lanes together. Now for the second warding technique, the famous Skara ward. This one has more uses and can be used in solo queue easily. Although it is tricky to pull off, there are some key things you can do to successfully pull off this ward. What this ward is warding the Tribush from Dragon Pit, or the reverse Skara ward from Baron Pit. Now what makes this ward tricky to pull off is that your aiming reticule moves when you move your camera. At your default camera position, you'll not be able to aim far enough for your ward to go into the brush, only to go on either side of it. But if you move the camera down, the targeting reticule also moves slightly further down as well, so you can aim it further, and you'll be able to get the ward into the brush. So here it is in steps. Stand as close to the wall near the sign as possible. Move the camera down just so you can see your champion, and aim at the sign. And voila! Perfect Skara ward each time. That is all for this video. Hopefully it's been educational for you, and if not, maybe leave some of your warding tips and tricks. Thank you, and goodbye. All these normal games.